Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. There's a delay, so just like this. No, there's a delay, so I don't want the context to be off, but maybe the thing is to talk about the JD Vance again. I talked about it yesterday. I'm doing more and more shows now. Pumped up on the testosterone, 128 milligrams this week of test sip. We'll see what that does. It should be at 1100, so I'm a little wired right now. Yeah. Also, none of my tie, I try to get, my neck is just huge because of the way I lose some weight. Hopefully I can start wearing ties again. But JD Vance the other day I mentioned the guy needs to be more honest. If he wants to do right by Israel, wants to do right by the Jewish community, wants to do right by America first, he needs to be honest. Because what's driving this divide and turning Gen Z against Israel is the fact that the lies are so blatant. It's like the best cloak up until 2014 and the rise of social media, maybe even after that till 2018-19, I think. The rise of basically social media as a means of bringing out objective truths from people that are not backed by special interests that they're forced to muzzle themselves. They can just say whatever they want. So hyper authenticity is why Nick Fuentes exists. Being honest about things involving power structures, disproportionate areas, rather than the cloak of we're victims constantly and anything you say that's amazing about us is anti-Semitic. That is not good for the Jewish community. That is not good for Israel. It's not good for America first. Or it is good for America first in a way, but it creates this weird paradigm of the longest prophylaxis against criticism of Israel and perhaps the cloaking of the Jewish community in terms of a rise to power in the Jewish diaspora is victimization, victimhood, self-degradation, this sort of idea of we're weak and feeble as a propaganda means of deflecting, deflecting eyes away from them. And now it doesn't work. It does the opposite. So you can't do that anymore. Now you have to be the humanitarian. You have to lift people up. You have to not insulate yourself. You have to be loving and kind to everybody. And you have to say, listen, yeah, we do kick ass. It would be it's crazy for us to say, if we were black athletes, that we don't jump higher than white guys in the NBA. When we're teabagging you from the free throw line and you're under the rim and we just that's not, you can't lie about that. That just happened. We jump higher. We're better athletes. You don't see black people saying that that's really offensive. A lot of white people, yeah, no, man, a lot of white people are good at basketball. It's so disrespectful. My crackers don't need to hear that shit. A lot of guys can get up. A lot of guys can get up. Can you name one? Shit. Well, no, but it's true. Pointing out someone's accomplishments is not a threat. It's a neuroticism that's very anachronistic. It doesn't apply anymore. There's no fear. Once you have the power and the power structures exist, you actually should be lifting people up. It's not designed to help you anymore, to kind of make yourself look like a victim when everyone sees through and there's no control of information. The truth is already there and it's growing on the fringes of social media and alternative media sources. There's no reason to lie. It's bizarre. Until the donors and the special interests actually understand this, Jewish billionaires, they need to understand that the game has changed. The threat of the Fron, the peasant uprising against you, being thrown out of a country or something, is so not going to happen anymore. But it could be in terms of just vitriol and a synagogue getting blown up. Heaven forbid, I don't want that. It could happen if you just keep lying and saying, There is no disproportionate influence of power. There is no like large like conglomerate of Jewish communities around the world that work together and lift up people, and this like rotating stream of money through Israel from foreign governments like the United States back to billionaires and influencers in the United States themselves. Like why someone like Bill Ackman might push pro-Israel stuff is perhaps because of an investment from like the Israeli Sovereign Wealth Fund through riches made by venture capitalists and hedge fund people in the United States. It's just like it's a cycle. It's like a never-ending cycle. So these like pay it back to Israel. Israel, facilitates your investments and gives you a backstop in case something bad happens. It's this community of like helping each other. And I don't think that that's wrong. Like, if it's really just pure absolute power and that no one should rival us, well, that's not fair, right? And that doesn't seem like it's going to work out if you keep lying. I don't think censorship's going to work anymore. I don't think you could censor Nick Fuentes and people like that off of X. I don't think it's going to work anymore. You could have politicians like J.D. Vance is like such an idiot. He like someone must be working for Marco Rubio's campaign to undermine JD and make him the fall guy, because it's tough. You go from vice president to secretary of state. That's not good. That's down. That's not good. You go from being like the next one, pushed by Peter Thiel and everyone to be the guy, and it's like nope. Like these weird like kind of like around the bend. Joe Rogan asked like, do you think there's like undue influence on U.S. politics by Israel? And he's like, this is a great. You can be Jewish, you can be like Orthodox. This is a good meme. I love this song.
Do you think that Israel is affecting American political judgment?
I mean,
so good. It's good. It's catchy. It's good. See, Hail Hitler, Clavicular in the Club, that was good. That was funny. That was good. It's a good, catchy song. Is it inappropriate? Some people think it's awful. Okay. That's fine that you think that. But it's catchy. To say it can't be catchy because the topic is Hitler, that's not true. See, that's the bullshit people don't like. Like, rhythm. Like, you can have some beats in Hollywood that Dr. Dre lays down or Method Man or something like that, and then, like, put the dumbest lyrics in the world on them. It still sounds pretty catchy, So, like, Weird Al Yankovic, like, did the opposite of that. He took, like, the same beat and made, like, funny lyrics, so it, like, worked out that way. But the beats were established. That was the beat. You can say whatever you want. And then he, like, emphasized the lyrics as being different and kind of comedic. So, like, the words don't matter sometimes when it comes to a good beat. I don't know that you could have funny lyrics and a bad beat in the background, bad rhythm. I don't think that works. So like this whole thing of like keep talking about Israel and the need for the state of Israel relative to the next Holocaust, and any criticism of Israel could lead to the expulsion of Jews from cities not in Israel, like New York or the United States, and then they only have Israel. So criticism of Israel threatens all Jews everywhere. And it's like, I'm like, it's such a weird convolute. Like, let's all just like care about each other. And like, if it's really just about, we don't want people to rival us in the Jewish community, as a Jewish community, as a diaspora around the world, we don't want people to, measure up to us. We want to have some control. And one of the ways we do that is we use victimization, even though we control the means of production in certain areas. We control consent through the media, but like it's not opaque anymore. Okay, the disproportionate control, the Larry Ellison purchase of TikTok. It's a question of whether the public has enough foresight to be like, you know what? Unless you just rig the votes, cause. We're just not buying what you're selling anymore, Mr. Vance, and other sycophants of that cause, because it's just we don't need to. Like, we don't need to do that, and we don't need to vote, and we don't need to vote. We'll just block you and vote for a Democrat, and that's what like Nick Fuentes proposes. If you want to stop something like that, if you want to stop it, be honest. Be like, we do work together. We are incredibly smart. We're powerful. Yes, we can fly through the air and dunk basketballs better than you. But you know what? We're also really nervous and neurotic. We lack, self-confidence. We're really awkward. We're scared, There's a difference between Jewish neuroticism and like Irish neuroticism. Irish neuroticism has like a pessimism, like universal view of the world. Jewish neuroticism is like inward, and like there's a self-hatred, and it's projected outward as like everything's a danger. Like waking up in the morning and just like putting on socks is like an incendiary action that could like result in self-immolation. That's the way they view things. But I think in the kumbaya sense of it all, you can't have your cake and eat it too anymore, and that's probably best for everybody. It seems like what could happen is let's just play it out. We have Dominion voting machines, a false sense of like objective votes. Trump was just on TV last night talking about like manipulation by China and other entities to control elections, digital voting machines being rigged, malicious algorithms. Let's say you stop that at face value, but really you rig it in your favor. Eventually, all this gets figured out. There's an uprising. No one trusts anything. Most of what the government's, in the most dystopian view of the world, the most pessimistic, the government's job, these like ugly actors, are to pacify us. And if we stop buying into it, we stop paying our taxes and just like, twiddling our thumbs and doing our thing, watching Netflix, the system breaks down. We lose faith, right? So as individual voices rise up, the question is, do they have any effect beyond the digital realm? Is it going to force people to actually not be complacent online and just say, I don't like this? They're like, no, I'm going to vote for someone else. I'm going to take action in some way through some form of civil disobedience. And then you have this whole thing of like the whole game of like lying, objectively lying, because you think people don't really have another. You've narrowed it down to two choices, two parties. Most of them agree on everything because they're backed by the same rich people that want cheap labor. Immigration's kind of like a ruse, okay? Or the idea that like Republicans are particularly racist. It's nonsensical. But the underlying part of that is like, Dems have this like smorgasbord of other ethnicities that don't necessarily like the Muslim community, and like if they want the growing Muslim community to be on their side, it's hard to back Israel, and so that's called an intersectional car crash. So you're kind of like in this nice position from the Democratic standpoint of being like truly partial and actually having a position that is antithetical to the Jewish diaspora as it relates to the United States and policy of Israel. You could easily change this though. The wokeism of like Zuckerberg looking like a bro, shifting from the Democratic Party, which is fake. But like the idea of like that actually going back the other way, the money will just go back the other way. They'll tilt the favor to them and kind of neutralize the Democratic Party, saying, these are the people in power, these are our politicians. We have to appease you too, so we're going to make the Israel issue like kind of indifferent. We're not really going to do anything with it. And so it just stays as it is. So the question becomes, where does the change actually occur? It just becomes a power issue. Like, there's also this idea of like needing power to protect our community from goyim, as they would say, like from the infidels, from the chattel, if you want to be like really derogatory about it. And so the only way to do that is have absolute power. So anything that undermines our power in this country is a threat to us. So that's anti-Semitic. And that's where I come like, this is not that. that's what gets you kicked out of a bunch of countries. If you really go play that to its logical conclusion, there will be pitchforks, there will be uprisings, there will be floggings, there will be executions, there will be incendiary bombs, there'll be domestic terrorist attacks against communities that don't deserve it, but their leadership is so neurotic that it happens. That's not good. That's what leads to this cycle of like getting kicked out of countries, persecution. And it's like, what is the doubling down? Well, we just have to keep doing this until the Messiah comes. Like, he hasn't come yet, so we have to just like double down, and then eventually he'll like, we're the chosen people, we're good. I mean, is that what it is? Because it's so repetitive. Like, if you keep playing this out, you're gonna be. That's a drone cleaning a building. Sorry, I'm really ADD. It's a drone cleaning a building. That's awesome. Don't those guys get paid like $100,000 a year? Power washing buildings? That's pretty good, man. It's a smart idea. That's a smart idea. Undermining those contracts. God, those guys are getting laid off. They're drones now. The noise pollution is kind of obnoxious. That's why like you don't have helicopters in LA, like from LAX to like the Hollywood Hills. They don't allow it for that reason. It's one of the ideas that I had starting a helicopter company for that back in the day. But yeah, you see a little fat Val Kilmer, little elements of it in my face. It's a compliment, a little bit. Little fat Val. Rest in peace. Rest in power. Iceman. I actually think Trump's most recent fights with the issue of Lebanon and Israel is what's keeping the fighting going. I think there's going to be a ceasefire again. How long it lasts, I don't know, but there's going to be another market upturn. I think selling your tweets is fucking disgusting. I don't really agree with that. I don't think a president should do that. I think this is like shows that this is the end of democracy. This is the end of the republic. We're towards the end of it. Yeah, it really is becoming like Blade Runner, where like people have no discretionary income whatsoever. The wealth gap's like there is no middle class. It's just rich and poor. It's like Mexico when they allowed foreign direct investment. And like I think people see that, and like now the dollar's being challenged by China and Russia, and it's like, oh, we're not going to let that happen. I don't think we have a choice. We can't even do anything about a fucking like relatively small nation of Iran. Do you think we can go head to head with China and Russia? I don't think so, and we're definitely not winning in Ukraine via proxy. So when the U.S. dollar falls as the reserve currency of the world, yeah, not good. Not good at all. So, man, really frustrating. Really frustrating. Let's take a look at a couple things here. God, I can't. JD Vance, dude. He has so much potential. He's so dumb. Unless he's just a company man, he's honestly he knows that he's fucked for 2028. He's just playing the game for his sinecure, just to be a team player. Like he's objectively, I will do whatever the administration needs me to do. Yes, okay, I agree with Mr. Trump on the, the Iranian operation. I'm not going to call it a war, operation, and I did that out of loyalty. Then you're also like firebombing your own career out of loyalty. Okay, maybe, because you are astroturfed. Like ultimately, an ambitious person, probably bright. Yaley, but seems like kind of a dense person that doesn't have a lot of substance. Like in a way, like obviously he's where he is for a reason. But imagine most of that, or 50% of it, let's say, is just astroturfing and being chosen by a JD Vance, chosen early on by a Peter Thiel or someone, putting himself in those circles. Obviously ambitious, and they help lift him up. Then he's loyal to the end. He doesn't really care. Like it's like, okay, I'm in the club. Presidency might not be an option. It's not in the cards for me. I have to support Rubio. Maybe he becomes vice president again. And then like his next shot is someone shoots Rubio. I don't know. And then Usha's finally like, yes, I've made it. I'm better than Michelle Obama. I'm the next Michelle, which is probably what she like fantasizes about that. like, why else would you marry this guy? Like, he's such a weirdo. He's just not very relatable, you know? He's just, yeah, he just seems like it seems like he's mastered the pretense of emotional intelligence as an Aspergian person. Like an Aspergian entity. I wouldn't even call him a person. Let me just check something really quick. Hold on. Bounce, bounce, market bounce, bounce it. What moved up so much? My account went up. Is it SMCI? Nice little swing. Yeah, from 24 to 25. That'll do it. Ooh, it went to 23.50 today. Wild. That'll do it. Yeah. My gosh. What a crazy spot. I'm so afraid to Did it really go to 23.50 today? My goodness. Let me just check. This is crazy. Yeah. Wowzers. Wowzers. Where's the SPY right now? Hold on. Just in case I need to make a trade while I'm live. Hold on. Trump media is considering a price of $100,000 per month for reporting access to Trump's True Social posts. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Let me see something here. Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. Let me go ahead and buy. Yeah, that's probably smart. I mean, yeah. All right, let's do that. And then more refueling planes to the Middle East for Israel to help in the war. Refueling vessels, wonderful. Again, I think this is all a ruse. I don't think there's a ground operation. I think this is all designed to make sure the terms are aligned for the midterms for Lebanon to be Israel-free, southern Lebanon specifically. And they'll this is like a delayed tactic. So they're going to do a new memorandum of understanding. The Strait of Hormuz will be open with no fees, and then the war will continue at a later date. This is just a delay. And so the terms of Lebanon, I think, are the biggest sticking point. You have the Israeli elections that are going to start in September. I think, yeah, I don't think there's a ground invasion that's like imminent. I think that it will eventually happen, but not right now. So you're going to have one more upturn in the market. Possibly. But we'll see. Pakistan kind of turning on Iran, saying that if any of their neighboring countries are attacked, that they view it as an attack on themselves, and they're working on a negotiation with Kuwait. I don't know where that pressure came from. So, I don't know. Let's see what else is what's brewing. What was the high today? Will it let me buy one more? Hard to say. Just go on kick. See if there's any action. Yeah, I actually want Israel to exist and have, to flourish, et cetera, and so forth. You kind of want that if you kind of want, you do. If you're even the most anti-Semitic person in the world, you'd want that. Like Hitler, like that's the idea, right? Like, okay, Madagascar, maybe no, and then you have the Jewish bankers that like pushed the Nazi party and invested in it for the sake of Zionism, because it was like a ruse for Zionism. And then Hitler became the fall guy after World War II for a number of reasons, and so even if you dislike, where do you want them? You want them in your city? No, but like what I'm saying is, I want Israel to flourish, but I don't like this propagation of like literal prose and propaganda, of like word manipulation and like postmodern dilution of meaning. This like logocentrism of like at entropy with language, that everything is anti-Semitic. Like that breeds anti-Semitism. That is called cognitive dissonance. You can't like be really successful and not take a compliment and call the person saying, I wish I was you and like made the money you did and like had the connections and like, was as successful as you in the same tax bracket. Like, excuse me, sir, don't say that. That's anti-Semitic. That's insane. That's just not, people just aren't buying, like, that's just not, it's not real. If you told your favorite football player you really like what they do, they're like, hey, keep that on the DL. That's just not real. But it is an element of working in the shadows and not being a target by making everything seem like it's like individualized. And other communities should use the Jewish example and work together more. Like people talk about like white power. That's not a thing. Like white people don't like work together, It's not a bunch of Irish people like working together, and like there's not an Irish diaspora of like, hey, my startup, can I get $100,000 seed round going? And they're like, who is this, Lassie? Who are you? Like Mr. McGregor asking for $100,000. I have sheep to herd, man. And there's not this, So I don't know. Like I think people need to be more open and kind. I think Silicon Valley actually does have this. Silicon Valley, in the tech world of helping startups, like there's competition for sure, but there's this like fundamental understanding of like a limit floor where no one wants people to suffer too much. Like, here's some money so that you can try your idea and pay your rent. And like that, like nepotism, what do you call that? Like incestual, like assistance. Like this guy, Bear, that died in a private plane crash in Austin, Texas, and he founded Capital Factory. His whole thing was like getting you to quit your job to like pursue your dreams, giving you the opportunity to quit your job to pursue something, and that requires some sort of like bare necessities. And I think the Jewish population is very good at that. But like as an example, the Silicon Valley, the tech world, in terms of like the startup culture, is also like kind of a simulacrum of that. And much of the success of the Jewish diaspora in the United States is from that world as well. And so they've probably imprinted the example. So, a lot of people aren't in tech. Maybe you should get in tech. You should learn like Obsidian. And I didn't even know what Obsidian was. I created my own brain file, my own folders. And I don't think it works that well. I'm still tinkering with it. But yeah, it's meeting people, going to like startup meetups and stuff like that. People like that are really rich, people that like don't have, any money. They're just like there, and not even asking, just like kind of learning or going to a seminar, watching someone speak. It's very interesting. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But people really need to take advantage of the fact that the world is designed to make them complacent, to get them to say whatever they want on Twitter, on a text message, without actually interacting in the real world. And it's a huge fucking problem. People just aren't out there. The cost of steaks going up to offset the fact that no one's drinking is an example of people are not out there drinking. They're not going out, getting drunk with their friends and chatting it up. They are like staying in their hovels, and they're comfortable with their DoorDash and shit. And they don't leave. They're not networking enough. They're not putting themselves out there enough. That's not good. Okay? And I don't want to pay $100 for a basic steak. $100 because you don't want to have a fucking Aperol Spritz. Buy a fucking Aperol Spritz so that I can buy a steak for $60 like it used to be. Okay? Like I'm like frightened that everything is like $120 for an 8-ounce steak. I'm paying $100 because if you won't have an alcohol, not even a problem. You don't have like a shift drink. We need to get out there and meet each other. We need to start like networking again and going out so that my steaks are less expensive. Okay? I really, like, as a matter of principle, I find it disgusting that I'm spending that much money, and also seeing people like lose out on their future careers because they're not out there. They're not meeting up with people. That's part of the problem. You can only stand people so much sober. Alcohol is like a prerequisite to having any conversations, letting it go. You know, you have to have this like barrier of like, I don't know, awkwardness or pretense. You have to like lower your inhibitions a little bit just to be yourself and say, you know, Bob, you know what? I don't think that Barbara should be in the office without a bra, with those weapons of mass destruction. I am having a hard time focusing. Okay? I don't care that she's your wife. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. That's fun. You know, that banter. We need more of that. Okay? We need more people putting themselves out there. There's a startup thing in my building, and I was like telling people that I have Mythos copy bootlegs on CD-ROM, and I was like giving them out at the door, you know, because Mythos is delayed from Anthropic, being it's too dangerous, it's too much, and like if you sign up for this magazine, $5 a month, you get the Mythos. It was funny. You know, you gotta do that. A lot of guys in that world don't have that like sense of humor. They're like, or maybe they're so Aspergian they don't even understand like what's the point of this? There's not a point. It's not a harness. It's not like a step to another step to a directive to an objective end. It's just to enjoy the state of being, which is a hard thing for an Aspergian to do because they're all about their lists and their like to-dos. This girl I see that's has autism. She's like, okay, we're going to the restaurant again. Like, well, we're gonna go to a different restaurant. No, we're gonna go to the same restaurant. I'm like, yeah, but it's want to try something new. It's like, yeah, but we don't know if we'll like it. Well, I've been to it. It's like I haven't. So but you didn't go to the one I took you to. It's like, yeah, but I know I like that. I'm like, oh my God, this fear. It's almost like an extreme fear of the unknown that autistic people have. I wonder if autism may be partially nurture and some sort of like developmental, like, I don't know, bastardization of like absolute affection from parents, like love, because like they're so like they don't like they like things that rigid, you know. I don't know. Can you hear that the church bells? It's nice. God bless America. I hope everyone's having a happy Friday. Yeah, Israel's a awkward topic for people to talk about, and I just think it's funny. I think it's just like tell people how awesome you are at something and not be afraid of it. Like if too many people find out that we're awesome at something, they're gonna come after us. I'm like, that's no. If you keep lying about how awesome you are, people are going to get a little pissed off because you're a fucking liar. That's the shift that needs to change because there's no control over the means of information anymore. It's just out there. Let's see.
You're a 30-year-old guy dating an 18-year-old, they say that's gross. You're literally a child, that's disgusting. Really? I thought 18 was the minimum. Oh, now it's different now? It changes based on how old you are? Oh, okay. It says who? Some 24-year-old woman? And here's the reason why. The reason why is because everybody knows that younger women are hotter. And women hate that. All women hate every other woman that's younger than them. Every woman hates every other woman that is younger than them until they hit menopause and they stop.
See, like, that's the thing that's like, that's inappropriate. Stop it. These are truths. The truths. I would argue, aside from his broadcasting ability, the reason Nick Fuentes is so popular, he's fucking honest, dude. He's an honest actor. There's no agenda there, okay? You take it or you don't. It's not even a grift of appeal to the other side. Like, you have everyone thinking this way, someone to think this way, and I'll have like complete absolute market share because no one's talking about that. It's not even that. It's not even that. Honest actor kind of goes into the game, is kind of like given an option to kind of like go against his values, and he's destroyed for it. His thing, if anything, that's like not pure, is he's angry that like how he was treated when he was younger, and that's partially what fuels him, which I think is awesome. You can do two things. You can be self-loathing, self-destruction, or take that and go. Like, I've had people fuck me over, like when my mom passed away and stuff like that. Family that like bought back my mom's stock for like blue book value. Disgusting. Like my mom's distributions from her interest in the family company, some of her avaristic brothers, buy back her stock at blue book value. It's like, so you gave her 2 years worth of the value of her distributions. That's disgusting. Yeah. Ever heard of 6 to 8 times EBITDA? So never mind all that. I've talked about that before, but you use that, and then I get sick and I have an autoimmune disorder. I'm like, what? Now my life's even harder. I'm like, why is this happening to me? Like, why do I have to get on testosterone, try like cancer drugs and all these things? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, my brain is a beautiful thing, and I'm constantly inflamed, constantly exhausted, mental energy depleted because of this horrible illness that no one's quite sure what it is other than my immune system acting against me. And it's like one more thing of like adversity. But you know what? I'm grateful because I'm fighting really, really hard, and I'm using that to push forward. Like, this will not beat me. I will keep going. I will keep going. I will keep taking the cancer drugs off label to stop my autoimmune disease. I will make my own fortune. And fuck you to anyone who says otherwise, and fuck you to all the people that hurt me in the past. Fuck them. I don't think about them. I focus on myself and build forward. And it's hard to do that. And there are days where I'm like, I feel pretty bad and I'm upset with myself. And I try really hard not to feel sorry for myself at all. Sometimes you do, because you're like, God, like my joints ache, everything hurts, and I can barely get out of bed because I'm like in so much pain. My spine's inflamed because my nerves are all firing for some reason. Like it's terrible, But I fight. I just keep going because that's all we can do. It's all we can do. And you know what? I couldn't live with myself if I let it defeat me. That's the other thing. I could not live with myself if I just gave up. Facts. I have a friend, Columbia, Yale, knows Richard Spencer, knows J.D. Vance, okay? And odd combination there. They're bedridden. And I know that they're trying their best, but they're like really have to stay in bed all the time because of their disease. And it's progressive. And I know that I have an ability to keep going, maybe because of steroids, maybe it's because of like whatever, some weird conviction of like delusion of like I have to keep going because I'm special, or I have this ability that I have to use it, or it would be such a waste of my life, as if my life mattered. I don't know. But I have the ability to do more, so I'm going to do more. I'm going to help them too. And so that's the one thing. People in your life, you have to be mindful of how you can help them. It's not all about you. You learn that in church. You learn that in scripture. You learn that from, hey, you're having a hard time. Imagine the people around you that are having a hard time and what you could do to help them. Stop worrying about your own fucking problems. Think about what you can do to help others. That makes you a superhero. That makes you a net positive contributor in this world. You're so worried that you're less than from your own mind space, your own head space. Excuse me. You're so worried that you're not doing enough for you, or your problems are going to affect you, and yet you can be amazing for someone else and help them. And part of that is also setting an example and just like keep going. And when they need help, you're there. Period. You're there. No excuses. And it's okay to not be perfect sometimes. It's okay to break down. It's okay to be like, I've taken how many Celebrex today? Am I going to get acute liver failure? So, but you just keep going. You try your best. Nothing's perfect. And, it's Friday. It's a nice little weekend. Overate a little bit yesterday. Didn't have any breakfast today. Offset. Tons of testosterone floating through my body. So, let's get some weight loss so I can close this and wear a fucking tie. That neck really got big on the lower testosterone levels. So let's see what happens. I don't know how long I'll stay at this level. I'm afraid, but I'd like to see the weight loss come off and then stabilize my diet and see what happens. But also, I've been inflamed pretty bad. So is it going to help or hurt? Trial and error. We'll find out. So weird. It's like things change. Your body shifts. The way I feel on testosterone right now is not the same way I felt on it before. My level right now is 1,100 this week, or from last week, same dose. 1,100 total. Same time last year, 650. Earlier this year, same dose, 450. Hate the company that sells those vials because they're not exactly concentrated correctly. Not a lot of consistency there. But I don't know. We'll see. The studio's forcing Christopher Nolan into casting the people that he did that don't have a lot of screen time. They have like 11 minutes of screen time and probably a 2.5 hour movie or something. It's an epic. But they're ruining the movie because people are refusing to see it based off those scenes. And juxtaposition with Brad Pitt as Achilles and Diane Kruger as Helen of Troy. All these things, like this propagation against the woke casting, is hurting Nolan. I think his cast having to go on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever it was, Jimmy Fallon, and do a rap together is kind of disgusting and almost offensive to Homer in and of itself. This isn't good. It's ruining the movie. Yeah, I don't buy that this movie will make its budget. So we'll see. They really got to stop pushing. I'm not a Zendaya fan, It would have been so funny, like a porn movie that's like it's a parody of like a real film. Like the Bear Bitch Project or something with like girls with giant tits or something. Like having Sydney Sweeney as Helen of Troy would be hilarious because it's just a little. It's not a lot of elegance there, It's like premium mid, giant titties out. That would be funny, and it would like be like the pop of like 1990s movies. Like that would be like fun. The pulp of it, 1980s maybe, where all the bad guys are German, very, very like sorry, Mr. What's his name? His name is Mr. McLean. Or no, that's Russian. I'm sorry. Guten Tag. I have McLean in the elevator. Come. That's again Russian. I have not worked in German. Sorry. But yeah, I don't like. The most astroturf person in history is that weird. What he plays the poet. Was he some rapper? Like he's just not interesting at all. He's not talented, really. He's the most astroturf motherfucker I've ever seen in my entire life. Industry plant beyond reproach.
Do you think that
Also, it's really weird. The shit. How do I get hold on. The other weird thing is the industry plants or the young celebrities in Hollywood. You go to like a fancy hotel like the Bel Air, you see like their handler is a young person, like a short 20-something that's talking to like a 15-year-old prodigy entertainer. And they like assign these agents that are super young and like dwarfs to match with like a Zac Efron or a rapper. I saw Wiz Khalifa when he was like a kid at the Bel Air Hotel, and his agent was like, looked like he was 12. And they do this on purpose. Like it builds trust, maybe in a kind of a dark, insidious way, but it's something they do. It's such a weird business. It's so not pure. Like, nothing about it is pure or good. It's such a brutal business. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. I can't imagine being an actor and like having your kids live in Hollywood and just knowing what you had to go through and be like, I wouldn't want that for my kids. I'm rich, so they don't need to do that. If they want to do that, I can provide them opportunities. It'll probably be a completely different experience because they're platformed, right? The struggles and the access points are like, how many guys in Hollywood that are like actors have done weird sexual things that they didn't want to do? I think it's very much understated. The female version we've heard, the male version, no one wants to talk about that because it would undermine their careers, right? No woman wants to hear that like some leading man like sucked dick for a role. Because then it's like, oh, is he gay? It implies that he might be, which ruins the whole thing. I talked about that the other day. The paparazzi, Hollywood, they're all in on like protecting like the closeted gay leading men. They don't want to ruin that because it ruins the business for everybody. It's an unwritten rule. They can find you with your kids and like the beach on your property, and like they'll come up to you and like they'll invade your you're at the Ivy and they have a camera right in your fucking face, but they will not out you as gay. They won't do that. That's really interesting. There's like a protection racket there. So I don't know. Also, it's kind of antithetical to the whole like pro LGBTQ thing. Well, it's a business. That's one part of the business they don't talk about. It's like, yeah, they know that 50% of the population are women. They don't really want to. The worst fear of women is like their husband leaving them for a guy. It's one of the biggest fears of women, right? That he's gay. So that doesn't work for selling the sex appeal of like a guy. The other thing is guys don't want to buy into a leading man, like hardcore action hero that sucks dick. They don't really want to deal with that. So they don't work with it that way. You can call that homophobic, whatever the fuck you want to do. What's really homophobic is the double standard that Hollywood doesn't force that imposition in terms of social terraforming, like a black Zendaya mid and like a weird Achilles transgender female to male, the like rarest form of them. They don't push those. They seem to be like, okay, we can do this, but what hurts the business the most, I think, is the leading man's like coming. I don't really understand it. Like there's some of it that's like for social terraforming. If the Nolan thing bombs, I think they're still going to keep doing it. They'll just use it as a tax write-off. It's part of the business, and part of the business is political, and it's dark, and it involves the destruction of white identity. I think so. What you can say, fuck whitey, or fuck, you could be like, I'm a El Salvadorian, I hate white people. Fine. But what's coming is you're going to be marginalized too by robots and other things. And the next El Salvadorian that comes from your country that takes 10% less on his paycheck than you. Okay? So just understand, like, the pretense is not equality. The pretense is you feeling the pretense is equality. The reality is that you are getting spoon-fed this so you feel more comfortable about the social terraforming of your community for the sake of margins and cheap labor. That's the reality of it. Usha Vance, yeah, that's part of it. It's part of it. Feel more comfortable about the guys not wearing shoes and defecating in your sidewalk. That you start to feel better. Like, oh, that's a poo. He's very good at coding. Works at NVIDIA. All right, time for a good weekend. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Love everybody. Love you if you're Indian, Jewish, Catholic. I'm an equal opportunity vendor, but I think the truth's important. We're not really perfect, you know. Like we're all like, you know, diversity's good and bad. It's not straight across the line good, and people's pretense might be like a little selfish. Like, you can't do that because that's this, but why are you saying that? Well, because you want control. And like, that's not really right. And you're like, well, if we don't do that, then we'll be persecuted more. You could say that about any group. Like that's just manipulative. Like, you know, it doesn't mean like you deserve it more. You know, like you deserve, like your lies are okay because of Hitler. You know, that's crazy. That was like a long time ago.